Hey everybody, it's Design Gal Christine Maggi. Today I want to show you a quick video on what you can expect in a design interview. Now, most design job applications are pretty similar. They'll ask you for some basic information like your name, your email address, a link to your portfolio, and sometimes a cover letter. I have seen some applications that also ask specific questions to really try to find out if you're a good fit for the company. But the main part of an application is to see your portfolio and see what kind of design skills you've got. Once you submit your application, it may take a few days, a few weeks, a few months, who knows, to get an email back asking you for an interview. Usually, you'll get at least some kind of confirmation email that your application went through, but not always. Once you finally do hear back, you can expect to schedule an interview when it's convenient for you and the company. Now, if you're in person, of course, they'll want you to meet in person. But for remote jobs, they'll likely want to call you over a video call or a phone call. Now, during the interview, think of it more as a conversation. You're trying to find out more about them, and they're trying to find more about you to make sure that it's going to be a good fit. They typically won't interview you if they don't think you have the skills and the qualifications. So the fact that you even get an interview is a good sign. And all that's left is to make sure you're a good fit for the culture, you have the background and experience they're looking for, and that you actually want to work there. When you get to the interview, you can expect the interviewer to tell you things like the company background, the history of it, the purpose and mission of the company, their core values, the role that they're hiring for, and what they're looking for in a person to fill that role, how they work, their processes, and so on, their company culture, and the types of projects they work on. Now, when it comes to them asking you questions, you can expect that they'll bring up some of your own work in your portfolio. You can assume that they've seen your work, but they may or may not know your exact process and your role in that project on your portfolio. So they might ask you some questions to get a little more detail, see how you present your work, as well as what your process is for doing the projects. They'll also ask you about your background and experience, what you're looking for in your next role, and why you chose that company. Sometimes they'll even ask you directly, why should I hire you for this position? And it's your responsibility to convince them that you're a great fit for the role. They might ask you some tricky things like, what would you do in this difficult scenario? Or have you ever had this situation come up and how did you handle it? They may even ask you some wacky question just to see what you do under pressure, how you think, and how you solve problems that may arise. Sometimes they'll have you do a sample project, whether that's a simple design or something that takes more time. They may or may not pay you for this work. Sometimes there is a deadline, so you may click a button and the timer immediately starts and you have so many hours to complete it. Sometimes they'll give you a take-home assignment where it's due at a certain day and you can do it at your own pace. And this can include anything from simple mock-ups, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, if the position requires those skills. They basically want to see what can you do for us now in this situation. Not what's in your portfolio, but a new project that we're in control of. If everything's going well, they may even ask you to meet some other people on the team or give you a tour of the office. This is usually a good sign because it means they want to familiarize you and make sure you're making a good impression to the other people at the company as well. If the job's a remote job, they'll probably ask you if you worked remotely before and what kind of tools you use to collaborate when you're not working in the office with everybody else. You may have 1, 2, 3, or more interviews depending on the company, but they're all designed to make sure that it's a good fit on both sides. So don't be intimidated. Think of it as a conversation and a chance to really ask all the questions that you can to make sure it's a good place for you. Every time I interview, I have a very long list of questions I like to ask because you really don't know until you're there what it's going to be like, but the more questions you can ask and get some of those answers that you're looking for can kind of help you weed out and decide whether it's going to be a good fit for you or not. So that's all I got. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up. Otherwise, please subscribe and I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye.